So Ananta Shanti was a wonderful young boy. He was very educated. He had studied philosophy, and he knew also the philosophy from India before meeting Srila Prabhupada. He was speaking in English. So he took this mission very, very seriously. He met Srila Prabhupada only for 2 days. But Shyama Sundar said he never saw Prabhupada giving so much to one person. They talk about Vanashram Dharma. Anatoli then asked Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, in order to preach Krishna consciousness, should I become a pope? And Prabhupada laughed and said, it's not necessary. And then he asked Srila Prabhupada, before leaving, it would be good for me to have a Western wife. This is how it came to be. So what Ananta Shanti was doing, he would approach friends. You couldn't preach directly, to people in the street. Would you like me to tell some of his preaching activities, how he was doing? So, for example, he had the Srimad Bhagavatam that I brought to Moscow with the help of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. It was such an adventure. And he would sit on the table in a coffee in summer and open Srimad Bhagavatam at the pages with the pictures, the beautiful paintings. And people would be very attracted. They never saw such pictures. So they would say, what is that? Can you tell us? And he would say, sit down, I'm going to explain to you. So they would sit and the police wouldn't see, That was one way. Another way, when there was no books, devotees in Russia at that time had absolute faith in a prashadam. So he would dress very nicely. He would buy a bouquet of red roses. He will offer to Krishna. And then he will go out in the street and approach the people and tell them, smell this rose. At least you will get a human form of life. And police would come. What are you doing? What are you doing? He would say, today I'm in love and I want to share this love with everybody. So the police would laugh and he would carry on distributing the roses. Another thing he did, he made a scientific institute. He registered a scientific institute. Because actually at that time and still now in the Soviet Union, science was God. They haven't had a university of atheism. So because it was a scientific institute, it got registered without any problem. So what was the goal of this institute? It was to test the power of Vedic mantra on plants, animals, and human beings. So when you would go into this institute, you would have a lot of green plants. You would have a few cats and dogs, and you would have a lot of devotees chanting Hare Krishna. That was the way he was actually doing his preaching mission. Another way, I always say not to be imitated by a brahmachari. He would dress very nicely and go to a place where young boys and girls were dancing. And soon enough, some girls would be interested. So he would say, after some time, he would tell them, would you come home? We can discuss more. And they would say, yes, I want to come. So they would go to the little flat he was sharing with his mother, and then he will preach from Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, a big international book fair was arranged in Moscow with the help of Gopal Krishna Goswami, Kirtiraj Prabhu, and for the first time all of Srila Prabhupada books were at this international fair in Moscow. So that's the way Ananta Shanti would preach, and he would travel all over Russia as much as he could. And he was a very unusual personality. For example, he would say, I come on Monday at such time. He would come 2 or 3 days later. He would say, time is eternal. Then he would start preaching, talking about Bhagavad Gita, very, very powerfully for maybe 7 hours. And when people got used to that, they used to bring their sleeping beds, their prasadam while listening to the lecture. You know, he was very powerful. But then persecution started a few years later.